Hello and welcome to Polly Knits. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you watching. There's a million podcasts out there. I'm gonna try to keep mine small. I'm not small, but short. um, I'm Polly Knits. You could find me on YouTube as Polly Knits. You can join the Ravelry group, Polly Knits. On Ravelry personally, I'm Polly81. And my blog is knitting-poly.blogspot.com. And Etsy shop is under Polly Knits, which I don't have up yet. I'm still working on stuff over there, so actually I need to work on product too, so um so today I'm just going to go over my finished objects and what I want to do next. And then I saw over at the Cherry Pearls podcast that um, they did a knit life survey. So I wasn't tagged, but sure, I want to try it. So I wrote down some questions and answers and stuff. Okay, so last week I said that there was a finished object in the living room that I didn't go get, and it's right here. It's just a beanie with a stripe on it. I'm not putting it on. And the yarn is Bernat Aspen. It has wool in it, and it's really nice and soft. And the black stripe is an I don't know. I'm guessing it's impeccable because sometimes if I don't know, I'll do a spit test where you rub the strands of yarn together with water, and if they stick together, they're wool. This one did not quite stick together. It was coming apart, so I'm thinking it's a blend or acrylic. I have no idea. I just this is what it looks like. It's just so that's why I think it could be just impeccable, because that's a generic Michaels skeined up ball of yarn. So that was fun. The older nephew didn't like that. He wants red and green. So I don't know. The younger nephew likes all the knitting stuff. The older nephew's more like, meh. So, but okay, the first thing I finished is my sweater. Oops, sorry for the noise. You can see it's done. So I think I did pretty good matching up all the stripes. The thing is that if your stripe on the arm lands on a purl row, you'll get dashes. So what I did was I just waited till a knit row and then I did it. I changed colors there, which you can't even tell. Here's the hem. It's pretty long. I like it. It's comfortable. I have a person who actually is already interested in buying it. This was for me. I'll sell it. I don't mind making another one. Excuse me. And that came off. Okay, so here it is. So, I know some of you are interested in making one of these. So, I knit the extra large size, but to get this small collar, I cast on for the medium, which was 86 stitches. And I knit the collar, and then I did a couple short rows on the back collar to make that taller than the front. Otherwise, it'll be choking you. It won't sit right, and I don't know why that's not in the flax pattern. So this is the flax by Tin Can Knits. Pull over, it's pretty easy. It's my third one, finished. It's Peyton's Classic Wool. And the natural mix is at the bottom. New Denim, Heath Heather, and Jade Heather. So they were all part of the same yarn line and they all go together. So I didn't really have to work too hard about that. And yeah, so that's the sweater. It's already attracting fuzz and I love it. So I want to make one that's red, dark gray, and black. That's like my next dream for my sweater. So that's one finished object. On to my second. I finished the nougat hat. This hat is called the Ridge, and I saw it on a podcast. I saw it on Smells Like Yarn. So here it is. It's very simple. DK weight yarn. Like I said, it was the cupcake, Karen cupcake with that little pom-pom. I chose not to use the pom-pom. I felt like the pom-pom for this colorway was just a dirty... It's not even cute. Like, where is it? I had it sitting over here, but I don't see it. Oh well. Anyways, it was just this dirty gray little sad-looking pom-pom that I just didn't use. And this is how much yarn I have left. It's quite a bit. Maybe I can get a pair of shorty gloves with it or something. And I cast on with the size US 5 needle, and you knit 3 inches and then you move up to a 6. And I rather hope that the orange stripe would be in the middle, but as you look at the top, I thought I was gonna get a little circle on top, but I didn't. So the pattern's free, and the decreases is every 15 stitches. You knit 2 together through the back loop, and it looks like that, so it's cute. A little pointy, but not too much for my liking. So yeah, that's it. And moving on to my works in progress this week, I'm knitting on the pair of socks still. Last time I was at the marker that I made, and I turned the heel and did all the gusset stitches, and now I'm working on the foot. My cousin has a US, well, it's a US 9, so these are going to be easy. They are easy. It's a vanilla sock with a heel flap and gusset that I get from Silver Sock Class. Very simple. And let's see. Yeah, I'm happy with them. There's no holes or anything. And I sent my cousin a text. He lives in New Zealand. He told me that he would like 8-inch leg. I asked him 6.5 or 8. So this yarn is Hawthorne yarn, and the colorway is weird. I don't ever remember the colorway of this yarn. So I don't have the tag here either, but I am at my computer. I don't remember. I just know that it's a beautiful tealy green with the jewel tones and the mermaid colors. So that's all I'm working on besides my crochet blanket. What do I want to make next? I'm going to make the Toothy Joe for Kyle. I showed you those colors. I have not started it yet. And there's a wrap called the Hugely Wrap that I have some acrylic for. Or not acrylic, alpaca. It's alpaca. I have alpaca for it. And I really want to start that. I believe it's a $6 pattern. Oh. But it's worth it. There's a lot of yarn. It's all yarn overs, which, you know, I have problems with pattern and lace, but I'm thinking if I just slow myself down and it's bulky yarn, that I should be okay. I mean, I don't even know what needles it's knit on. I saw it on the Grocery Girls podcast, so that's always amazing. And then let me just talk to you about acquisitions. Acquisitions? Anyways, I have new things that have came into my world. So last month, December, we got this in the Mary Maxim kit. It's natural alpaca tweed. It's beautiful. And that's the pattern that they wanted us to make, which I'm not making that. I would fail. That's like a lacy thing, which you'll find out about more later. Let's see, there's 4 skeins in here. I mean, I would love to have a sweater out of this. It's 77 acrylic, 20 alpaca, 3 viscose, which I'm sure is the Tweety bits. Whoops. Sometimes they make it good. But I've decided to exit the Mary Maxim Club. Just because I ain't happy with all the yarn they've given me. A lot of it went out to the garage, which means, yeah, right. They gave, one time, one of the shipments was a huge cone of white, silky yarn. And I'm like, oh, this is crap, I'm not going to use this. It's just a shiny, shiny acrylic white cone of something. So, that's going away. A lot of the shawls that Mary Maxim sent, like the first one I got halfway through and couldn't figure it out, so I called the 1-800 number for knitting help, and she couldn't help me. She tried to help me. I do not understand how they write their patterns. It's really confusing. I've tried several of their patterns they've sent so far, and not one of them has turned out. So that's crappy. And I do struggle. It's not the knitting I struggle with, it's the instructions on patterns, and that's usually why I have to give up. Otherwise, it's usually because I'm just going too fast and I must make a mistake and just say, I'll rip that out. So this month, for 2018, these are the Mosaic cabled slippers. Let's see, sorry about that. I'll just take it out. I know plastic is annoying when you're trying to show something, so here we go. So those are the slippers, Mary Maxim. I have no reason to make these. I do not. I looked the yarn up that came with this kit on Ravelry. It's not American. I think it's discontinued like all their other stuff they've sent us, and there's no information about it. You can't even read the label because it's not in English. You don't know how much you have. Well, it says 100 grams and 150 meters. It doesn't say, so I mean, it's not even. I really feel like Mary Maxim is just trying to get rid of stuff. I want wool. I need wool. And this one's called Tunic Dahlia. It's not English. Like, once again, I have no idea what this is, and I can't find it online. Thanks a lot, Mary Maxim. That's my view about that. I've been in the club for about 6 months to test it out. But that's enough for me. I'm done with it. It's just filling up my stash with stuff I don't want to make. Put that back in. Okay, so that was my purchases. Okay. Now we're going to get to the questionnaire. The survey. This is tea. Black tea. So on the other podcast I was watching, they stopped the video and put in a title page for each question. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go through it. If I feel like putting it on the screen, I will, but that's probably, yeah. Okay, so the first question, what sparked your interest in knitting? Now, I remember when I was younger, we lived up in the mountains, and there was this store that had everything in it. and they had a yarn section in the back. It was a pretty nice sized yarn section, and I used to go back there every time that my dad would take me to that store, and he could always find me back in the yarn section. And I didn't know anything about yarn. I didn't know how to knit or crochet. I had made those God's eyes where you glue the popsicle sticks together and you wind it. I did that when I was even younger, so that was a little bit of yarn. And I always had like this love for yarn, but I didn't know what to do with it. And so I would go to that section and I would buy the embroidery floss because my friends and I always enjoyed braiding. So we made each other hundreds of those little bracelets. Like, I think we had them for the whole school. We had so many bracelets. And that was really fun. So my first kind of thing was the bracelet thing. And also, I've always had this motivation that I want to be able to make something. Like, I want to be able to make something myself, by myself. And I remember always looking at books and stuff when I was younger, trying to find out what can I make. I used to always try to make homemade glue and paste and all that stuff. Um, and then when I moved in here with my partner Mike, I met the neighbor and she kept talking about she had to go because she had to go get back to her knitting. And she was always leaving because she was going to go knit. And she promised to teach me to knit. And she never did it. She never got around to teaching me how to knit. So I went on YouTube and taught myself how to knit. And well, there's another question about that down here more. So I'm gonna say what sparked my interest in knitting is all the beautiful colors of yarn. That's what drives me the most. Um, the second question: how and when did you learn to knit? See, so I was 25 years old and I bought yarn because of the neighbor. Like, she wasn't sharing her yarn or telling me anything. She just wasn't coming over. So I went and got yarn and I started a scarf. I watched I had a DVD from Target first, and I kept rewinding it, fast forwarding it, rewinding it, fast forwarding it, rewinding it, fast forwarding it, trying to get the cast on down. And around that same time, I found a show called Nitty Gritty, which I watched that religiously. I mean, I would watch it again and again. And there were male knitters on there, which I thought were awesome. I have one of their books. And so they would slow down the camera and they would show Vicky Howell bringing the yarn around the needle and knitting very slowly. And I got it. I got it from watching her. So I was searching, I would go online and search because if there was knitting help online, there had to be other things. And so I found YouTube videos, and I think it was a while after that when I found podcasts. But once I found podcasts, it was over from there. I'm an addict now. I'm a knitting addict. Um, so yeah, it was when I was 25 and it was from the internet. Okay, so what is your favorite cast on method? I learned to do the magic, wait, what's it called? The long tail cast on. And I use that forever. And then I was watching the Knit Girls. That's the Knit Girls with 3 L's. And they started doing tutorials over on their website. And one of the tutorials was Twisted German Cast On. And ever since I watched it, it's my favorite now. Um, the method that they use, you're doing an extra little wrap, so you're getting a little bit more yarn in there, so each stitch has a little more give, so it's not so hard. Like, you could actually, it's great for cuffs, hats, a little bit of stretch with it, and I like it. And I always get it confused. I call it German twisted cast on, but I have to remember that it's twisted German cast on. And I'm not sure the other names of it. I know there are many other names of the cast-ons. So, okay. What is your favorite type of knitting design element? I'd have to say cable's number one. and I love Fair Isle color work. I think those two are my favorite. Um, Short rows are not a design element, but I think they're really magical. And so, cables and Fair Isle. What is your favorite project you have ever knit? And I'm gonna say, I don't only knit, I also crochet, so I think I'm gonna add crochet to this because my favorite project is the big granny square afghan that's on my bed. I used wool ease. At the time I made that, I had a ton of woolies in my stash because when I first started knitting, that was my favorite yarn, was wool ease. And I don't even think it's a full worsted weight. It's pretty thin and wimpy. And so my plan was to use up all my stash and knit that. And then when I was like halfway through with that afghan, I realized I was going to need a lot more yarn. I did 10 squares of each color, and it just fits across the very top of my bed. It doesn't even hang over any. But my partner and I love that blanket, and it's used every single day. And Coco loves to stick her little nose out of the holes. Okay. How many projects are in your Ravelry queue? 393. That's it. I queue whatever I feel like making, and then I will actually go in every couple months. I go in and I click, and I'm like, why did I queue that? And I'll just go in and delete stuff. So, and then my favorites on Ravelry, I use that for friends' projects because I can just it allows me to add a heart to their project. So favorites I don't plan on always making. It's just to send the love. Okay. What is your favorite weight of yarn to work with? So this question is a little bit more tricky because I don't always work with the same weight of yarn for what item I'm making. So the question is a weird question. If I'm making socks, I like fingering. Um, for hats, and I love DK or worsted. Sweaters, so far I've only done worsted weight sweaters, but I want one out of DK. At the moment, I'm really loving DK. I made a few things out of DK, a couple hats, and it takes a little more time than worsted, but I love the finished object. It's thinner and lighter, and I don't know. I like the way it feels. Okay. What was the first knitting project? My first knitting project was a scarf. Like I said, I think the yarn was what Impeccable is now, except for it had a different label on it all those years ago. I'm guessing, but I think I actually have the scarf in the closet over here. So why don't I actually just get up and check? Yep, it's here. I saved it, so here it is. This is my first ever project. Oh, there's an end coming out. So on this project, I could not figure out why I was getting dashes. See those dashes on the pearls? And you can see there's not a dash, there's a dash. Not a dash, dash. So on this project, I was really learning the knit stitch, and then I figured out which side that you need to change colors on to get the dash on the same side. Because I kept trying to do it and it wasn't working. And so every other row is a dash, and it's a design element. And yeah, I was in love with this green when I first started knitting. So it's a perfectly usable item, but I kept it. And then after this, I made a hat, which was patterned, and it was a hat that you seam up the side. It was a Gansey, because it had different sections of either seed stitch or ribbing or whatever. And when I put that on, it went over my head. It was so big. So that was a gauge issue. Um, yeah, I don't know anything about it. I did not even make a Ravelry page for it because I don't think I wasn't on Ravelry. And I don't even know if I was at my knit. I'm sorry. I didn't even meet my knit group yet that we used to have here. So, okay. What is the longest time you've had a half-finished object in hibernation? What is it? When did you cast it on? And do you still want to finish it? At the moment, my largest thing would be my sock yarn blanket, which I don't plan on finishing anytime soon. I have had a sweater on the needles that just sat for over a year, and I just end up ripping it out. So for me, when things sit too long, that is a dead ringer that I'm not enjoying the project anymore. So lately I realized I can rip those out and not be hurt by it. And just move on with happy stuff. So let's see, I have had a few sweaters like that. What else have I ripped out? I ripped out a big Afghan that I was making recently, but that was another Mary Maxim thing. And the pattern was fine, but I got lost and couldn't figure out where I was, and I just ripped that sucker out. And I'm probably going to donate the yarn. I have so much navy blue acrylic now. It's like 20 balls. Because I had 20 balls for a sweater already. No. I have like 9 balls of impeccable, and then they sent me another 12 balls of it or whatever it was. And so that's just too much. Okay, what is the largest project you've ever knit? I'm going to say it was my granny square Afghan, and that's crochet. What is the worst and just overall bad project? Sorry. Coco, come here, baby. Okay. What is the worst and just all over bad, didn't work out thing you've ever knit? I'm gonna say that it was the exploration station because I don't like the project. I enjoyed making part of it, and then other parts I had to get help with on Dragonfly Source podcast. And then I got to the very end and I couldn't figure out the chevron lace on the bottom of it, so I just cast on and said F it and threw it in the box like I do everything else. So yeah, I don't like that because it was a mystery along, and that was the second mystery along of Stephen West that I had to get help with. I did the Rockefeller and I really messed that up, so that wasn't fun. So I don't think I'll ever try the exploration station again. It wasn't really the brioche section, it was the I-cord edge before you get to the before you start your brioche. Really confused me where the yarn was supposed to be, and like any other brioche pattern I could probably get it pretty easy, but that I do not like adding the I-cord edging to the brioche. It just really made it too confusing for me. What is your favorite kind of project to make? Socks. Definitely socks, because they're portable. I can take them anywhere. I have a lot of yarn for them, and people seem to really enjoy socks, so receiving socks, I should say. Okay, there's another page of questions. Let's see here. What is your favorite type of fiber to work with? I like merino, and I'm not picky. I'm not a yarn snob. I enjoy alpaca. I've knit with alpaca twice. That was good. I've never knit with cashmere, so I can't say. There are soft acrylics, and I've liked a lot of the acrylics I knit with, but I'm just going to have to say 100% wool. It's sturdy, and if it has a little tooth to it, it's even better. I don't like shine in my yarn. Sheen. And that's interesting because my favorite yarn was always Petaboo, which is a very shiny bamboo yarn, drapey. And so I'd have to say my favorite fiber is non-shiny, natural, toothy yarn. I like that. Okay. Are you a self-proclaimed yarn snob? No. What is your dream knitting retreat or fiber festival to attend? I don't have one because I don't really want to go to any of them. I went to Stitches West a few times. That's enough for me. That was way too big. And I just get anxiety. I know that I would be on high anxiety the whole retreat, being around all the people, and I want to just like I like to be in my room knitting. So I don't know. I guess I'm not really, I don't know. There's a men's knitting retreat up in Seattle, but it's too anxiety ridden. I just can't. Um, what is the oldest yarn in your stash? I have no clue. It's probably Deborah Norville sock or possibly a Vanna White. Um, are you gifty or selfish knitter? I'm both. I don't mind sharing. What do you watch or listen to while you're knitting? Mainly knitting podcasts. I have a few I listen to, which is the Knitmore Girls, the High Fiber Diet, the Savvy Girls, Stash and Burn. Did I say the Knitmore Girls? And I can't remember all of them. And then I also like Netflix. Right now I am watching The Crown, which is fabulous. Okay. Do you prefer wood or metal needles? I prefer whatever's at hand. I will just grab whatever's closest. I don't care what material it is. As long as they're not those funky ass plastic ones from like Boyd or whatever. Those are ones they kind of grab too much. Is there a pattern that you've knit more than one time? All of them. I I think, let's see, I've knit the gingerbread hat many times. That's my go-to cable hat. Coco, stop it. We're recording, honey. She wants to eat. Um, yeah, vanilla socks. I knit those a million times. Dishcloths. I knit the DW dishcloth a lot. And what else am I? Um, yeah, the flax I've already knit 3 times. I like to knit my projects multiple times. I don't mind because I feel like you get perfection a little bit closer and closer to a nice finished object. Do you have any other hobbies? I like gardening. I like playing the ukulele. A little bit of painting and drawing because that's what I did in college. And I like my spinning wheel. What is your favorite snack? Cheese. I love cheese. There used to be pickles, but those are too salty now because now I'm supposed to be on a low cholesterol, low salt, low fat. Coco, come here. I'm closing my door. She's bugging. Okay. So it's kind of hard lately for choosing my snack. So I usually go for low sodium sunflower seeds, but my favorite snack is cheese. I love to go to the refrigerator and grab a slice of cheddar cheese, but you can't do that too much. That's really a treat. Okay, so what is your favorite color? I think instead of a color, it should be like a what's your favorite part of the color wheel? And I'd have to say denim. I for my tops that I have in my closet, I wear denim color. I like the different shades. I like the tweedy denims with the little white in it. Um, and I've knit things with that yarn before, and I still love it. So, oh, you could see it right here, anyways. See all the denim colors? and then oranges. I like to add oranges to it. So that's my color palette. Do you have a pet? Tell us about them. I have a dog named Coco. She's a min pin. She's hungry right now and wants her dinner. And she's a little bit of a bossy creature. I love her. She likes to play in roughhouse, and we adopted her. Her mom was in the pound. Her mom was pregnant, so we had just lost our other dog, Bastion. He had congestive heart failure, and that was devastating. And so we found out about Coco, and our vet put in all these really good words for us because we keep up on our dogs. Like, they know Coco because she's there all the time. And so, yeah, we had to wait a while, and she lived at the vet, and she lived at the thrift store that they were putting the dogs up. And so it was great, and we love her. I also have a ball python. I bought the ball python when I won at the casino one time, and I took the money and bought a snake. And I had a small aquarium for him when he was a baby, and then I went to the casino again and won again. So I bought this big 100-gallon tank for it and a table it sits on. Uh, and he's doing good. His name is Tiberius. I don't go to the casino often. I do not enjoy it, but those couple times I won, I don't put the money back in. I just go buy something that I like. So I've gotten a yarn too. Okay, so the last question is, do you prefer coffee or tea? And I'm gonna say tea. Uh, right now I'm drinking organic black tea. It's from that Safeway Organics, and I sweeten with Truvia. I asked my life coach which sugar I should use, and she said out of all the bad ones, Truvia is the best. So, um, apparently, people who use artificial sweeteners, they use so much artificial sweetener that when they go back to sugar, they need a lot of it to satisfy themselves. So that's what I was told, and I don't care. Truvia is good. And I believe that's all the questions. And that's everything that I have to talk about. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing about YouTube. Um, so the other day I was watching podcasts, and I'm watching In a Pickle Knitting, and I get to the end of her episode I'm watching, and I find out I just watched episode 1 again. And I'm thinking, why did that video pop up? So what I do when I go onto YouTube is I'll click on the podcast I want to see, and I'll click on their video tab, and then all their podcasts will pop up. I could pick the newest one, and then I'm not flustered because so many times I'll just get into the middle of the podcast and realize this was from like 5 years ago or something, and YouTube really jumbles everything up. I feel like they're not giving me all my new podcasts that are new. So I've been hitting the bell on the ones I really love. And other than that, I have to go search on Ravelry and check the Ravelry boards to see who has a new show up, a new episode up. So that's confusing. I had a podcast catcher before, and that was jumbling up all my podcasts. And then before that, I had iTunes. And anytime my iTunes would go down or anything would happen, I would get all my podcast episodes listed as new again, and it jumbled them all up. And so I really struggle trying to keep new episodes and what I need to be watching next. So, and I know some of your podcasts I've really missed quite a bit, and I'm trying to watch all of you. So, and as far as iTunes goes, this show will not be on iTunes. I'm not messing with that. So, on that note, I'm going to go feed Coco, and I'm going to go do a few chores. I'm going to knit on my sock, and we'll see if I can get an episode out next Friday. So, that'll be cool. Keep in mind, I'm just one knitter, so a week's worth of knitting we'll see if I can produce. So, yeah. And that's about everything I needed to talk to you about this week, and have a great week.